should I say, upcoming trader rather. So I feel one of the actual major challenge I overcame during my trading career was this indiscipline of trading. And in that sense, I'm trying to say, um, mo- you guys already like been mention of it and everything, but you know, when newbie traders come into the space of learning to trade, learning is one phase, and secondly, the second part of trading is you actually learning about yourself. It's not just about learning from a mentor or learning from a particular person, the number of mentors you learn from. It's about actually how you, as in my own philosophy, how I understand it is about how well and how adaptable you are to refine that system you learned from several several mentors or a particular mentor to fit into your own personal lifestyle. And I'm saying this because the first person I learned from was, actually went in depth in psychology, you know, trying to find yourself in terms of psychology of trading and everything. So I feel one of the major things that hinder profitability for upcoming traders is they don't try to refine the system they learned to suit the kind of lifestyle the kind of lifestyle they live. I, as a person, I'm not the kind of person that often have time to view the chart, be there to view the market every time. And the different type of traders exist for a reason. Whether you are a scalper, a day trader, a swing, a position trader, all of this existed for a reason, which is inevitably the time frames. So you don't expect that most of us to the traders, they don't expect that if you're learning from a particular mentor and your mentor is trading on a lower time frame, then you as well must do the same thing. No, that's lower time frame. You don't know the kind of lifestyle the person is living. Probably, the mentor is the person is at home, always at home, and has access to funds easily, or even the person does not have access to funds. It's something that, okay, if you put on calls, you can find a way to get the money. Whereas you as a student, you have to work your ass out. I think like Lingard said, he said he was into laboring labor and laborer work. So you don't expect such person, like if you're such a kind of person, and then you get money and then you just come into the market where you have to still work, then you put the money going to lower time frame doing shit. So I feel what most traders have to do is, if you learn a system, look in depth into that system, understand the kind of lifestyle you are, the circumstance you are going through, the condition, things that you have at hand to do. Okay, do I have to scalp? Do I have to day trade? Do I have to swing? Which of these matches your trading, your personal lifestyle? And then when you get that, then you can also learn the aspect of risk management, because it's very very important as well. It's not about when you know the kind of trade you want to take, and then you are still there. In a day you take more and more trade, trying to revenge trade. So I feel most traders have to learn this aspect, which in my own philosophy, I feel it's one of the thing. And another thing I personally overcame was this greed of a thing in trading. One of the things that I did wrong last year majorly, because okay, one of the major things I did wrong last year was I don't I didn't learn to manage my trade properly. Overall, last year I took roughly around 100 trades in total, and most of those trades, I was like most of them 60 something trades were losses, and they are not clean losses because they would I would take a trade, and it would go into maybe a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. I am I was doing either TP or stop loss, nothing for time. So that it will go into 1 to 3, 1 to 5, and then reverse back to take my stops. Sometimes it will even take my stops and then just run to TP. So all of these were kind of experiences in which I had to refine, like learn what I was doing wrong and then bring it back, which will bring me to the aspect of journaling and reviewing your trade. If I was unable to if I was unable to journal my trades throughout last year, I won't have that data at hand to for me to be able to review and figure out what was wrong. And Most traders, they will think when you're telling them journal your trade, they will think, oh, we are just scalping. There is no point in me after taking trade. I still have to go and write the reason behind it or how it played out afterward. There is a particular reason for all of this. It's more or less like you keeping check of your day in and day out activities. So in a nutshell, beyond technicals, beyond fundamentals, or beyond who or what system you trade, you have to master yourself. You as a trader, you have to master yourself. Learn who you are, and then create uh, craft your system or define your system around yourself. It should be built around yourself. And one thing is, when you come into the space, you will see they will say, okay, there's this concept, CRT, there's ICT, there's SMC. All of these things, in my own sense, if we would look at it analytically, all of these things are the same strategies, just defined to a particular person's personal lifestyle. We can look at ICT, the way he trades, that ICT concept was how it fitted his own style. SMC was extracted from it because it suited another person, the person chose to name it. CRT was the same thing. Because support and resistance, foundation support, this and that, all of those things. We are just definition of what suits their own personal style. So if they never master themselves, they will never be able to craft out this system to even at all say, okay, this is what I'm calling my own system. So in conclusion, this is a call to every upcoming and every enthusiast trader. Learn to master yourself. Journal your trade, review them as if your life depends on it. That's what I would say. And I really appreciate you guys for bringing up this topic, because this profitability issue has been what has been killing lots of traders. I do really appreciate you guys, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. God bless.
All right. That was that was very nice. Solid advice. Solid advice. Solid advice. That was nice. Does anyone else have anything to say? Anyone else have anything to say? Oh, we've had 1,000 people listening for a consecutive period of time. That's nice. People are just coming back from church as well. That's nice. That's nice.
Tony, say you go church.
Please, can I go ahead to ask my question?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Tony. Good evening, Lingard. Greetings to everyone here, and I see you, Tega. Like honestly, it's really been amazing, space coming up here and speaking at the same time, learning from those who has been in the industry and who has having a proven record. Now, I just have few questions I want to ask, and at the same time, I will actually maybe need a recommendation and advice. Now, most of the times, we always hear this term follow who no road, so that you won't make the same mistake they did when, when coming up in the trading industry or when doing everything in life. And in such a case, there are some things that whereby, okay, you are kind of doing or you need clarity in your trading journey, whereby life is stocks, you've actually follow a couple of people, but in the same times, from paying for mentorship, learning trading strategy, you just feel stocks in, in the aspect of everything seems to be right, but you've not gotten to that profitable stage whereby you can comfortably say, okay, yes, you've been profitable for a couple of period, or call yourself a profitable trader, because there's even between a trader and there's even between being a profitable trader. So in such a case, how do you go away from that level, or how do you break that barrier of you being stuck in one particular thing? And second question is, when dealing with your psychologist, what mindset shifts change for you when you feel like, okay, you are in a drawdown or you are trading, and at the same time it's like it feels like you are not seeing results in what you are doing. Now this is the last question because I know a lot of people have questions. In most time the upcoming traders have these issues of paying for everyone mentorship due to the figures they saw, or due to how connected they want to be with each of that mentor. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I hear someone who had actually paid for over 10 people mentorship, and we had this conversation today. So I told him, okay, yes, you've probably paid for over 10 traders mentorship and you haven't really been able to be profitable. Now the problem may be from you. Why? Because you try to learn every concept from every trader, and applying it becomes very hard due to one, you've been able to learn a lot of things. Now for you to be able to apply what you've learned, is very far different, because trader A may teach you what is liquidity in different aspects, trader B teaches you liquidity in other aspects, and when it comes to you as a trader, for you to apply that the same principles you've been taught becomes very, very, very hard. And I get to understand that most of the times traders don't only pay for mentorship to learn from the mentors, but also connected to them, or due to, okay, the like or the love they have for them, okay, they know how they are trading and they want to learn that same thing. And along the lines it get to the extent that it affect them so much that when they're on a trade they can't focus on a particular strategy to take with, or a particular strategy to stick with. In such a case, how do they go away from have learning too much of a thing but not seeing results, and focusing on, okay, following a plans in getting what they want to get or achieving a particular result? Thank you, sir.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. So first of all, I've always said that you should know what you want to learn from any particular person that you're paying to learn something from. If you notice, there are people that will teach you their strategy. There are people that will go as far as teaching you their psychology or how they do their risk management plan. Me, it turns out I just specialize in teaching the technical strategies that I trade with. The moment you observe traders on this space, there are traders that you feel like their way of trading best resonates well with you. From people that have posted free work, free teachings, and maybe from the charts that they post on the timeline as well. So if you see how this person trades and you feel like this is the person that I like how they trade well, you can start to learn technicals alone from this person. But you're going into to pay for something, you already know what you're looking for. You don't just go to the market with an idea of something and then you don't have an idea of what you want in your mind. So you went and you paid for this and you learned the technicals. Do you know that aside from technicals, there are other factors that goes into trading? Okay, the next thing is your psychology and then risk management. Then, for example, Dax has like a 10 trade rule that he trades with. So he does like 10 trade crew. So you feel like, okay, this is the best way that you feel like it works for you. Another person has like a 1% risk rule, and this is how it works. And this, understand? So you check all those particular things. A lot of people have different ways that they have their risk management plans. You find out the one that best resonates well with you, then you learn that. So you're combining technical analysis from this mentor, no problem. You're combining the risk management plan that this person uses, because it's also another factor in being a profitable trader, no problem. Then you check about psychology. I've noticed the way that maybe tech Re- say you, I'm just saying, for example, okay, you've noticed the way that tech risk trades that he only posts setups on 1 hour time frame or 2 hours time frame. So it helps him basically filter out noise on the lower time frame and that. You can say, okay, I want to learn how your psychology is when it comes to trading. How do you control yourself to a point where that you can only filter out and trade these particular things? How do you do this? And you learn this from this person. Then you'll be like, okay, the other person, I like how he does something. Maybe I like how Kojo manages money. I like how Kevin manages money. How do I be able to learn? Understand? There are things to learn from. That's why in school, you don't learn everything from one lecturer. There's a lecturer that teaches you this, another one teaches you this, another one teaches you this, another one teaches you this. And if you feel like you are learned enough to do all these things yourself, you can. But I know I did it myself. Nobody taught me any damn thing. But it took me a longer period of time and a lot me losing money a lot to be able to say, okay, this is how I developed my system. This is how my risk is gonna be. This is how I manage my money. This is my structure in doing this, this, and that. And then I was able to say, this is the one I'm going to teach. The rest of it, let people figure it out themselves. But there are people that collectively teach all these things, and there are people that teach some certain there are people that teach money management, there are people that teach risk management, there are people that teach about psychology and the rest. So before you pay for anything, first find out what it's all about and find out the reason why you're paying for that thing. Is it that you want to, you like how this particular person trades, you love the person's risk to reward ratio, so you want to know how he does it, that's what you want to learn. You love this person's money management. That's how he does it. You want this is what you want to learn. You love this person that holds a trade for 1 month and does not really feel any need to you want to learn how to do it. That's what you want to learn. You love this person's risk management. That's what you want to learn. So I feel like before you pay for anything, you need to first of all already have an idea of what you're going for. So that way you don't get stuck doing one thing that one that one person does. Even though someone can be very good at technicals, but the psychology is shit. Someone can be very good at technicals, but the risk management is shit. So you have to know the one to learn from each person and then to be able to navigate the rest and remove the ones that you don't want. So that's just basically it.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that answer. And please, what does flexibility in trading means? Does it mean switching from strategies or being able to adapt to the edge of the market? Because most of the times, some traders which I've actually noticed, and most of the times it happens to me, I may be trading with a different strategies today, and all of a suddenly I see myself switching a new entirely strategy. And I was speaking with someone earlier, and he said, in trading, you need to be flexible. So that goes to me. Does flexibility in trading means that you have to, stick to one strategy, or you have to adapt to the market movement? Because there are some people that trade, just only they have to see a structure inducement, and they have to see like a pure structure and an inducement before taking that trade. There are some people they have to see a fair order block and FVG before taking that trade. And there are some people who actually combine all these things together to to make sure okay, yes, they see an entry or see all these things before taking a trade. Now, in the aspect of flexibility in trading, what does it stand out to you, or what does it mean in general?
Well, flexibility in general, first of all, it depends on what you trade. I feel like your strategy should be flexible enough to adapt to most market conditions. For example, I trade structure, liquidity, point of interest, directional bias. Directional bias basically means overall direction of the market. Structure basically means the current flow of the market. Liquidity means where money lays in the market, and point of interest means where you're going to get into the market. All these things I mentioned can be found in every market condition. There's no way that you tell me that directional bias will never be included in the market because market has to have a direction it's going to. There's no way you tell me that you can never find structure because market needs to have a structure in order to actually make its movement. Liquidity, there has to be a places that money lays in the market for price to go to. And in point of interest, there will always be a place where you enter the market. So that alone is a flexible strategy. Now, also from the strategy, I also have the ones that I trade for when market is ranging, and I have the ones I trade for when market is trending. If most people that my students would know that I always mention the three market conditions, the three basic ways that price makes its movement, trending and the ranging, uptrend, downtrend, and the ranging market. I always say when price breaks structure, you trade continuations. If it's a reversal concept, you trade reversals with it. So you have to make sure that what you trade is flexible enough to adapt in almost all the market conditions. Do you understand? So first of all, just like having this situation of this simultaneous equations in school. There are three ways you can solve it. I think the substitution method, the other method, and the other method. Just so whenever market presents itself in this way, you can solve it using this. So, for example, if I'm in a way where if I'm in a market condition where my gold keeps making all time highs, these breaking structures, I can always adapt the continuation entry for my strategy that I trade and always trade it. And it's all covered in the strategy that I trade. But part of the strategy has the one that you can trade continuations with. The same way, if market is at a point of it's about to change directions from one particular move to the other, I can also adapt to it because part of my strategy also has a way to trade reversals with it. So I feel like it's more of knowing a strategy that adapts to most market conditions than one that does not. You understand? So that's just it. So it's just like okay, whenever you check the charts, in as much as the market is slow, sluggish, or something, even if it's ranging, but you trade may still show up there. There's no way the market is ranging. I will not see a way to okay, the gold trade I took last week. You guys should know the gold trade I took last week. The first thing, in as much as gold was ranging before I took the trade, It was a ranging market trade, but I was still able to find my trade entry from there. Why? Because the strategy that sorry, let me slow down. The strategy that I trade with has a part where it talks about ranging markets, and I already know how to trade it as per. It's part of what I trade. And if it's a continuation trade where market is already at an all-time high, I'm flexible enough to adapt to it because my strategy still has a way to adapt to continuation entries. And if it's a trade, okay.
Okay, certainly. Like for instance, now I know you as Tony Ike, and I know that you are very good at what you do. You know, so
Mm.
I could actually come and learn from you with that mindset that after learning from you, I will become profitable the same way you are. But what people fail to understand is that it's not all about who you learn from. It's about if you are willing to put in the same work, the same energy the person
Exactly. I
will.
keep saying this thing. As long as you're in a class filled with 10 people, or let's even say 100 people, and out of that 100 people, they taught a topic whereby five people are doing well with the same thing. As long as they all learn from the same person, and even 95 are not doing well, I swear to God, the 95 are still the ones at fault.
Exactly.
As long as something was can work for someone else, and one person taught the same thing, what the people that it worked for, that's why in the class, there's only one person that can have first position and another person second and another person third. Doesn't mean that you understand they have fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth till the last person. Doesn't mean that the person that taught the first person taught the first person separate and the rest of them separate. No. It's just that most people put in more work than other people, and most people don't. And most people think it's easy, and most people know that it's not easy, but they are willing to still put in the work in as much as it's not easy as well. So in trading, it's difficult, and because you're dealing with money, most people lose and then they just give up. Or they just want to try trading as pay. Let them just try it and see what this whole trading thing is about. But there are people that still stick to it. For example, Divine learned from my advanced class. Bernard learned from my advanced class. This guy as well. That guy asked the question about uh the funding and stuff. Like a lot of people learn.
Mhm.
So if those people were able to get to that point, to this particular point, they are learning from one person. You learn from the same person, but you're not doing as well. Do you really think the person that taught you is a problem, or you yourself that and not put it in the same amount of work, or maybe something, maybe your learning capability is different from the rest. So you just have to find a way to study as harder than the rest of those people who have to study. You understand that kind of thing. So yeah, it's not necessarily from who you learn from. It most times depends on the amount of work you're meant to put in. But there are people that teach rubbish. There are people that after teaching, that teaching you utter nonsense. Those people, majority of everyone, after learning from them, want to learn from someone else. But there are people that actually teach what works in the on the chart, and you know that okay, what you have to do is just to stick to this, and eventually, mm,
Yeah, Chief, can I say something of it?
uh,
Yeah. I, what I always say is majority of people really profitability don't show like mad without actually putting in the work. Like they think by the time you just learn the technicals, everything just ends there. Or even with the technical self, you can be technically good and not be profitable self. But nobody wants to study. That's just the thing. They just believe, so long as na Tony they teach, once I learn everything done soft. And in the end, they just relax, and after the classes, they just relax, no study, no extra time, no extra effort, and they think everything is just going to go smooth like that. More study.
that's the main thing. They see it's not about who you learn from. There are people that yeah, it's so easy. Okay, see as I don't they as I dey explain these things now, it seems like everybody already become profitable. What I'm saying, there are people that can teach. There are people that have that gift that they teach you well. They actually teach what works. They know how to teach. It's not boring and the rest. So that's why they're rushing to learn from this person because they feel like the person knows how to teach well and then they know what they are doing. But at the end of the day, they are not going to force knowledge inside your head. So, and this is an industry where there are a lot of factors that goes into being profitable. And if you lack anyone, it's going to pull you back. Lingard, you came back, you carry dictionary come.
Tony,
Yeah,
Abeg, this show you want talk, more everything she want talk. Abeg,
who's that?
she dey here now.
Uh, who's the shorty?
Say she trace abeg. Unmute.
Okay, yeah. Hi, guys. My name is Grace. So, I don't really have a question. I just want to add to what has been said on the space. One of the factors that hinder profitability is pressure, putting pressure on yourself, maybe because of what you're seeing um online. Let's say that you have already been making yourself some profit. Maybe you're like making like 500 a week, 500 in a month. And then because you're seeing like someone else is already like buying a house, doing this, it is okay for you to actually want to reach like that level, but don't pressure like yourself. Take like the pace, like go a step at a time, like be patient with the process, enjoy like the process, enjoy it, and just like, because when you pressure like yourself, you would tend to overtrade, over leverage, and lose all of the progress that you've made already. That's what I wanted to add.
Wow, that was very nice. That was very nice. Does anyone else have anything to say or ask? Or
Eh,
Good afternoon.
okay.
Good afternoon, boss.
yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I have a question. And like around the kind December, you say something that as market keep evolving, you keep improving your strategy, and you were trying to explain something to one of your followers on comment section about inducement thereabout. So my question is this: like as the market is changing, the market pattern is changing. How do you improve in your strategy? Because the what you taught us during January class, no June class, because I'm your June student, and I watched one of your video on YouTube. I think September class there about the knowledge, like your explanation on that September class was completely different from that of what you taught us on June class. That means like your knowledge increases more than what you know previously. So my question is this: how do you normally study to get those ideas that okay, market has changed and this is how the market is behaving now, so you can now follow the new pattern of the market compared to the previous pattern?
It's not really like
Then
okay.
okay.
It's not really like the market changes. If you notice, the explanation is always something very very slight. Like for example, I used to say my inducement was always a pullback that goes close to the last closure of the candle of the MSS and the rest. But eventually, on the long run, I started noticing that when market does that and it does not really take out the body of the candle that triggered the structure of my strategy that I trade, that most times it started failing. So I started noticing that pattern and I tried to find the ones that actually worked and I just tried to find out what's different from the one that worked and the ones that didn't. So when I found it, it didn't take time, it was like 2 minutes. Then I just implemented it. And so it doesn't really take time to get. Just have to look at what has happened in the market before. Okay, you know what you trade already. Check the ones that failed and find out what they have in common. Or the ones that failed, what they all have in common, and the ones that didn't fail, what they all have in common as well.
Okay, thank you for that particular one. And again, secondly, most people that enter your June class, right? Like before I paid for your mentorship, I asked you this question. I was like, do you teach psychology? Do you teach risk management? You say no. You only focus on technical analysis. And then I was like, oh, because I actually needed psychology that time and also technical analysis. Then I was not thinking of paying for happiness Samson or your mentorship or this guy, this goat slayer. When I saw your technical aspects, like you are very good. When I mean good, you are very good at technical analysis. And then you were saying something now that you might follow a trader based on their technical skills. Then you go to another trader based on their risk management. I go to another trader based on their psychology. Now, for you to be able to scale up very fast, that means you have a good psychology, number one. For you to be able to flip, like you can get good risk reward. That means you have a word, good technicals, those two things. And the last one, you have a word, good risk management. That means you have the three things that the trader should have. So is it still okay for me to follow just you because I just love your lifestyle and like everything around you? Because ever since I paid for your mentorship that June till date, I have never for once watched anybody video regarding technical analysis. I've never for once watched any, like never for once. I've never done that before. Because after you teach us that time, that section, so many people went back. They were thinking maybe if Tony teach them like this, they'll know everything about technicals. So many people went back and they did not even improve in themselves. But after that class, when you were done teaching us, I've never sleep completely at night. Like I've never sleep at night completely because I keep studying. I keep studying the chart. Like currently now, gold and silver and BTC. If somebody should take me back to the chart, I can explain everything that happened because I've studied over and over and over again. So what I'm saying in essence, you have these three things that I want to see in a trader. So is it okay like focusing on only you and following only you than going from one trader to another? Because each trader have their opinion. Your opinion on risk management is different from another person's opinion on risk management. Most people will tell you to risk 2% of your capital, 1%, but you have never said anything about risking 1%, 2% of your capital. The only thing you normally say is this: risk what you can afford to lose. So first you plan the risk and you lose it, it's okay. Like me now, yes, and last week I plan to risk my account by two. I was risking 50% of my account, and I end up losing the account, and I not feel the pain because I already planned the failure part of it. And there's this particular thing you say whenever you are writing your plan, you plan how you have three plan. The first plan: what if the two trade go your direction and one was a loss? The second plan: what if the two was a loss and the last one was in profit? And the third plan: what if all of them are in loss? So, like, I want you to say something about that, sir.
The thing is, simply because you follow someone that not that okay, you feel like they have some things that you want, doesn't mean that they want to teach it out. For me, I don't teach the whole psychology and the whole thing and the discipline and this. And I, in fact, I find ways to maneuver it myself. You can even learn the technicals and be able to maneuver the rest yourself. So you don't be out to follow anybody for those part of the. You just have to check yourself as a person and know the one that best works for you. Because me, I didn't learn it from anybody, so I have to just check the kind of person I am. How am I, or how many trades do I take before I start seeing consistent losses? How many trades can I just see in a week with what I trade, and how many times can I trade and leave the market without having to rush to trade anymore? So that was what helped me know how many times I trade, the psychology and the rest of it as well. So you can use the technicals as the working system, but the whole psychology of it will now be something that you have to figure out yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that is the part I'm working on right now because I'm good at technical. So, the psychology aspect is what I'm working on right now myself. And there's the one thing again I noticed. Sorry, this is the last question. Like your the way you explain this thing MSS for us during the June class and the way you explain breaker block is totally different from the way you explain for your current students. Because how did I know it? Because when you posted your chart, like normally when you post your chart, I do study your chart. That is what even helped me to till date because after our June section, you posted a particular chart on your Instagram. Then I came to your DM. I was like, how do you get this entry? Then you explained something to me about breaker block, and that was what helped me to date about how to pick breaker block. But now the way you pick your breaker block now is now different from the way you pick it during that June period. And but the one you taught me that time on your DM is still working for me. So is it that I should not evolve from the previous one you explained to me on your DM? I start following the new pattern you are trying to explain now.
No, everything is still the same, but there's how an explanation will be given to you that makes some things easier. For example, there were most times where if you see back then, I used to just say break of structure, but now I do like multiple break of structure. There were times where I would wait for breakout structures and market would not mitigate it, and I end up having missed entries. And I also focus on the wrong part when I'm supposed to be moving on to the next. So there are things. Okay, let's say for example, someone says, um, okay, someone tells you, for you to get to Lagos, you just have to go to Port Harcourt, go to from from the east. go to Port Harcourt, from there enter Benin, enter this, and then go to Lagos. So going through three places. And someone says, "Oh, I know a shortcut, do this," and then from there. So it limits the amount of things you need to look at. For example, we know there are people that say, for example, you see a break of structure down here, you see another one up here, the other one there. Which one should you focus on? Now you check all these things, and there's only one that has the recent explanation of what you should actually look out for when it comes to picking break of structures and breaker blocks. You are more likely to focus on the one that has all those criteria and the rest that does not. So it's basically something that yes, everything it works, but to know the one that you should focus on, to know the one that you should actually, okay, if you've missed this entry, we still stick to this particular entry and wait for market to come there, or should you move on to the next one that has the main criteria of what you're looking for? So you always advance, you always study. The more you study, the more you have something like you don't really waste your time on the wrong setups. Because there are setups that will have all your criteria and market will never come back there simply because it does not really have the perfect, I wouldn't say perfect, not inspired, but it does not really have all the criteria as meant for this particular thing. So you end up being like a missed trade. You cut that as a missed entry, but in hindsight, the setup was never meant to hold in the first place.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, now I get. Now I get. I think I'm going to study your new pattern of trading and your new pattern of MSS. Thank you very much. Thanks for the response.
Tony, Tony,
Hmm?
help me
Hmm?
accept Gabriel. Tony, me, I did not believe that you have another new pattern of trading. No.
I don't have
Think
any
as, for example, now you could actually
no. Everything.
body could actually form on 45 minutes, whereas the week they are waiting for it on 30 minutes now, and you use the 45 minutes, and now they're waiting on the 30 minutes. Now they got maybe left out, and you are in the trade already. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Time frames don't really matter. No matter the time frames you're on, you still get the same entry.
Okay, Gabriel, you can talk. Oh.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Tony, Believe, Divine, Anton. Good afternoon, everybody. So, Tony, I have a question concerning when you enter a trade. Now, when you have seen what you trade, do you sit down to monitor your trades, like to monitor every candle form? And how does that play out when it comes to your psychology and your time?
I don't sit out to watch every candle from. I just if it's not there on the charts, it's not there. I leave it. Or I just stay on the chart. And there are times that I look at the chart when I feel like market is most volatile, and then I'm expecting my setups to form around that period. In fact, before a setup even forms, you should already know what market is expected to do. For example, you're looking for a continuation trade. You should already know what to look out for continuation. So you already know what you should be expecting from the market, and you know the time how long it should actually take to formulate. If it does not actually form, for example, market is trending up, you know that there are two things you're waiting for. You're waiting for this, and this. So you should actually okay. If you need the first candle to close, the next candle to close as well. So let's say
So I wanted to say something concerning. You said something about uh, people planning their trades and not, like you said something about the cool red car, black car kind of thing. And I wanted to say that most times it doesn't really apply to everybody in the sense that personally I learned this the hard way. If you're talking about psychology, a lot of people will listen to you from now till next year. But you see the thing that is in their mind, they will still do it. Personally, I came from a gambling background. Like there's nothing I've not gambled in this life. And I took that same mindset into trading. I attended your class 2 times last year. And the funny thing is that I knew your strategy before attending your class, but I still attended it twice. I won't still attended Aton's class. But my point here is that I thought I had a problem with technical analysis, but apparently I could teach people technical analysis. So it was when I don't wait for trade, I just see some spike and I jump in, thinking I want to scalp. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. There's one thing he said in one of your classes. He said, "You see that indiscipline that pays you and gives you money. The day it will catch you, you're going to pay the price." And funny enough is that you will know this thing that this thing affects you, but you will do it over and over again. I have bought a 100K profit from my account and blew it in 45 minutes. Did I know? And did I know I was stupid? Yes, I knew I was stupid. But guess what? 2 days later, I did the same thing again. And most times when people advise other people, I just at this point I just tell them that leave them. When you lose enough, nobody will tell you that okay, it's time for me to change and like follow. Because personally now I can see improvement in myself because there is no longer that impulse to just always enter trade, enter trade. There's some people that immediately they credit their account. The next thing they are looking for the next candle to put money and probably scalp or do something. But they end up blowing it and then they will feel bad, come back again, they repeat the same thing. I learned technical analysis June last year and I've lost a lot of money. I'll not even say much, but a lot of money because I kept repeating the same failure, exactly the same thing. I'll repeat it over and over again. And the funny thing is that I kept paying for classes. I learned, like I said, I learned from you twice. I learned from Anton, I learned from Dax, I learned from Bernard, I learned from everybody. Like I paid, I'll do a video on it. I paid 15 mentors last year, back to back to back.
Yeah.
I have proof of everything, so I'll do a video on it later. But the thing is that I kept doing it. Only for me to sit down one day. I think it was on Christmas Day. I sat down and I'm like, come, this boy, what is wrong with you? You know this thing. I can legit teach somebody from scratch, but I am not making money. So then I now say, okay, let me start documenting my journey. Let me start sitting on my hand. There are sometimes that I will see trade. I will not take it. I know it's correct, but I will not take it because I just feel like, why you? That's how you do, and you make the same mistake again. You blow your account. You go and start from afresh. So most times I just feel like advice to give you, like for example, journaling. If you tell people journal from now till next year, people that journal when you are trading, they not reach 10. They not to this just you just say it and say. Even those that advise people to journal, they don't journal. So at the end of the day, I feel like in trading, you allow people do what they want to do. When you are ready, like when you are ready to calm down, you will now calm down and do what will make you profitable. So that's what I have to say. Thank you.
I no problem. Yeah, that was there was one thing they said about person where they use mouth drive, no, they get accidents. It's so easy to advise people on what to do when you're not facing the same problem. So it's very, very, very easy to say do this and do that or trade. That's why it pisses me off when you see maybe take a loss and someone say, "Why are you risking $30,000 on one trade?" So you've not risked that amount of money and you feel like you're in the position to give me an advice on how to risk $13,000. But it's good and fine. Um the thing is, it can only be it's only people that have already experienced some of these factors that can tell you, okay, this is what happened to me, this and this is what I did, and this is how I was able to at least see progress and see some kind of clarity. Because trust me, everyone goes through this same emotional trauma when it comes to trading. This psychological thing, this it happens to everybody. In fact, anyone that says they don't face it, the person is lying to you. Just that they can't really come out and say it to you. So it's very. You just need to overcome it. Most of you guys don't have issues due to technical analysis. You don't. A lot of you can literally, when you're not on the chart, analyze something and be able to see something that's going to happen on the chart from now to next year, and it's going to keep happening. But when it comes to implementing and actually monetizing the whole TA thing, difficulty comes from there. So I feel like it's the impulse and the pressure and the whole external factors I already mentioned prior to this particular time that goes into trading, the whole indiscipline, rushing to make money so you can solve one or two bills and everything. Now puts you at a place of it makes you stagnant. You're not pushing forward. You're not moving backwards. You're basically just stagnant. So that's just it. Hello, ICT Queen. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to have you.
I think it's my first time being on a space with you.
Yeah, and we've not spoken before actually.
Okay. I just saw it. I just saw that there was a space going on and the topic looks great. Factors that hinders profitability. So
Yeah, do you have anything to tell? Because we've been looking for a lady to talk to us about these things as well. Maybe it's different for because guys, it's way different for us, and maybe it's not different. So if you have anything to say, anything to add, we appreciate your 2 cents on this.
okay. I feel like there are lots of factors that hinders profitability. Lots of them. Um One major factor that hinders profitability is wrong technical foundation. That's technical analysis foundation, is a major factor that will always hinder profitability or the order flow. You have this very fast way of learning. You went to learn roadside, you didn't really learn the concrete and the right way. You always have problems with profitability because one thing is when you didn't go through the normal technical approach to learn price, you may seem to have some string of luck, and a time will come, it will catch up with you and let you know that you don't skip the class. You have to follow through the routine. You have to follow through the basics. You have to understand the rudiments and logic behind price action. So that luck you had a certain period will run you run out of it because it's not gambling. So wrong foundation on technicals, wrong mode of learning, analysis paralysis, mixing up you know concepts without a depth understanding about a particular concept ruins profitability. Now, I'll use myself to cite an example. I have a I always talk about a solid foundation when it comes to technicals, as currency, confluences, currencies in terms of um, when you say currencies are correlated, inverse correlated, how you can get a trade from this, use that knowledge to get a trade from another. All of this comes with the basic of Forex. I had that knowledge. Now, someone without that knowledge and trying to now guesswork will always have to fall into the trap and lose money. And we find it difficult to be profitable. Another way I look at it is people that learn from the roadside, people that are trading, for instance, SMC, and decide to now start learning supply and demand without learning it the right way, they will have analysis paralysis. They will see a particular setup. Supply and demand is telling them this location. SMC might be telling them that location. Now, what they are meant to use as an added advantage demand is. You have they understand very well what and your SMC technicals is. Now, what you do as someone who have learned this properly, you can use them as a confluence. When you confluence them, it gives you a high probability areas to buy and sell from, and that increases your win rate and gives you more precise entry. But when you now lack the good knowledge about technicals in terms of supply and demand or SMC or retail or ICT or SLK, you're using them wrongly, they tend to give you different signals and that reduces profitability. That's why a couple of people find it hard to stick with the concept. But for me, I was trading ICT for a very long time. And I said to myself, I really need to understand retail because there are sometimes we all know that your system will certainly start hitting the wrong part of the market. And I mean the wrong part of the market, you experience some certain levels of losses more. So I had to set. I told myself I want to learn retail. I went to learn retail concept. I actually paid and entered Jeffrey Benz's group. I just want to see what he's done there. I learned some at Wyckoff. I learned Wyckoff myself, right? I learned SL advantage. Good precision because when I look at the price from ICT concept, I'll look at it. Where would they want to liquidate an ICT concept trader? I will look at where they would liquidate us. I'll look at where would an SLK trader be looking at it from a key level standpoint. I'll look at it from that level. Where are the retail traders? Where are their stop losses? I'll look at it from that level. So someone who doesn't have this understanding and wants to do it would certainly have losses. There's no two ways about it. Then another thing that gives people low profitability is lack of conviction, right? And it still boils down to a very wrong foundation when it comes to technical analysis. We don't understand and trust your system properly because you have not given yourself that time to go through the process and study what it looks like in different trading season. Different trading season means their expansion. Just wake up and start buying from where it closes. True or false? Very true. When gold is consolidating, gold can reverse back to your entry 10 times. Go back home, go back home. So your approach trading gold when it's expounding is wake up and buy, look for small consolidation within this lower time frame and buy up after a rate of liquidity. But when gold is consolidating, you know they will do deeper retracement. They might even go back as far as 3 days and all that. So your approach will change. So as a trader who haven't studied your system for all of the seasons, and you decide to jump in because most of them they want to start validating themselves on social media. I wrote about the season we have, this era we are of trading. People want to seek validation, they want to be applauded. And the fact is, you don't need applause. You need to prove to yourself, nobody, you can do it. So you can think of only you alone in the picture. You don't need to rush the process because in the end, it's all about you. And I like the fact that when I was learning Forex, I wasn't even active on social media. I wasn't really bothered because I really didn't know anybody that was trading. It was just me and my own fellow friends that were just doing this I am academy stuff and all that. So I got to start knowing people when I joined Telegram and all. Now, most of you want to rush the process instead of taking out your time and studying your them, you don't have trust in your analysis. That conviction is not there. And when there's lack of conviction, the trader would have given you profit, you chicken out so early, you lose faith. Then the one that will give you loss, you will be holding, thinking it would reverse. Understand? You are getting scared where you're supposed to have faith because you don't want to lose money back to the market. And you are having faith where you're supposed to get scared. And what's also reduced profitability is childhood trauma, unresolved issues in your childhood, unresolved anger issues, unresolved traumas, out. It certainly will have to come back and the market will mirror all of those angers and unresolved issues with you. It's going to mirror it on your trade. Now, how does this work, Queen? How is this possible? You're the kind of person that you rarely forgive. You're always angry. An angry person finds it difficult to be profitable in the financial market because the market will trigger you that anger, and because of that anger, you will blow your account because can't control your emotions, you can't control how you react, and the market will always do things that will make those parts of you, those triggers, come out. When the market is hitting your stop loss, you don't have to react. You have to be calm and learn. What is it? You will learn why the market is redirecting you, that your entries are wrong, study it, and learn from that particular place. I had an entry on gold. I a sell entry, and gold instantly gave 700 and something pips on that sell. That was 2 weeks Friday, and immediately reversed and, and hit the stop loss. I refused to delete that object. I needed, when I'm settled down, to look why did gold go back and so slightly above my stop loss. And I saw that that was a more superior level. If I had just immediately abandoned that trade, I wouldn't have learned from that lesson, right? Now, I want to give you people a very, very critical scenario as well, where you need to resolve your anger. Most of you that have timeline rage, you're always angry, you're always showing anger. It's reflecting on your trade. That's why you're not profitable. You can't show timeline rage and be a profitable trader. You can't drag somebody unnecessary on timeline and be a profitable trader. It affects you, most especially when you don't have the basis already. The stop loss, rather than let it be and watch what price is doing. You want to try to tell price what to do, because you have not forgiven price. You want to revenge trade, and revenging the market is the market's best friend. The market will not deal with you more, and you become more unprofitable. Now I want to give you an instance. I had an account, I put it on the timeline. One thing is, I do my things so transparent, so I don't have anybody to show to be scared of. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. It's just what you see. Shades of gray, black or white or white. I had the account, it was on $21,000 in profit, and I was still on a running trade, more like equity, not balance yet. And price reversal, I closed out with $17K, trying to get back to $22,000, which is trying. Don't try. There's always an opportunity for you to think logically. When you try, the market will tell you that you are not trying enough, because the market will never reward you for trying. The market will reward you for thinking logically and allowing things cool down before you go back. That is why the market will always be the best teacher. It will teach you how to behave. It will bring the best and the worst version of you, and you have to choose which you want to stick with. Now I went back trying. That's what happened to me, trying and trying. I had a string of losses on that same account. Other accounts were doing well. Because I was attached to that account, I had a string of losses 3 days, and that account went all the way down to zero in profit and into drawdown. But guess what? I never allowed that to trigger me to now start getting panicked. I sat down, think logically, still looked at the market, and always to all the way to 17,000 plus dollars, even almost 18K, and I placed a withdrawal. Now, what was the lessons learned from that experience? When take a break, that time you are trying to say, I don't want to take a break, that is when the market is going to bring you back in and deal with you. So often time, leave the charts. You don't always have to be there. You don't always have to take every profitable trade, because sometimes that trade you think it's very good, that is the trade that will ruin your trading account, which means taking a break is really true. people, try as much as possible to build your own system you can trust. Avoid thinking that somebody else can make you rich by using somebody else's system. What you build for yourself lasts with you for as long as what you rent, the owner that owns it cannot